despite what their moms told them. They just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't even try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot. And really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Now, those two unapologetically biased, orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Monday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe for the Believe Entertainment Network. At Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the Militia live on X Spaces for the fan feedback segment of most post-game shows. Most. Not this one. However, we're back. Syracuse football on a bye this past week. However, we can talk a little bit about, well, we can talk about the win over Drexel, and we can talk about the future game, which will be tomorrow against Monmouth. Yep. So I was actually unaware, as ignorant as this is, that they were the Drexel Dragons until Saturday. And I thought to myself, is that it? That's all we had, huh? The Drexel Dragons? I mean,
those are the ones, that was what was left over.
Okay. Anyways, we'll talk a little bit about that. I listened to Coach preview for the press conference for Notre Dame week, and not a ton there. Obviously, a ton of respect for Notre Dame. We won't get into all that. I think they're 9th in the country right now, and what's even more upsetting than having to play a pretty decent Notre Dame team is having to play a Boston College team for loser takes all. And all means being behind everybody in the ACC, Joe. And they haven't looked terrible. So a team that's kind of still horrible, but maybe less horrible than us.
Possibly. I mean, we thought the same thing about North Carolina, right? And we just couldn't put the points on them. It's been about putting points on the board. We don't need to revisit every single podcast since Angeli, ruptured his Achilles, which again, kind of a sore spot for me because he looked good and I wanted him to be able to go to Notre Dame and play against his former team. I really did. I hate that he doesn't get that chance. Notre Dame looks really good. We had our issues with Pitt, and Notre Dame made their game against Pitt look pretty easy.
Pitt looked bad too. I mean, to be fair, they just didn't.
But was that Notre Dame? I mean, I
think it's a combination. I think you got to be on your game when you play a team like Notre Dame, and I don't think they were.
Well, you do definitely have to, right? That game was for Pittsburgh to stay in the runnings to try to get into the ACC championship game, and that was also a game for Notre Dame to stay in the college football playoff hunt. And obviously, the better team won, and Notre Dame is going to continue to do that. I don't think that they're going to take their foot off the pedal or feel bad for us. So, it's going to be a great experience for the younger guys, and then hopefully maybe they can go out there and put together a pretty good game for the seniors that are leaving. I'm very, very much cautiously optimistic about trying to be excited about that game, and again. If anything, at this point, it's more about, them fighting, continuing to try to get better, and obviously the young kids playing against these teams. Like Frank Brown always says that they want to win a championship, make a college football playoff. Well, here's just another team this year that is probably going to make it, and you get to put yourself up against them and see how far you're off, and you use that as motivation in the off season.
Yeah. So, I mean. At this point, what else are you going to do? It would just be more so than losing, than losing badly to Notre Dame is a loss at home against Boston College, who narrowly pulled off an upset win against Georgia Tech on Saturday. So
And look, I mean, if we figure out a way to put up points, then I think that's very much a winnable game, right?
Early too. Like you have to put them up early while the defense is doing the best job that they can, and you can't wait till the second half to put up points because the defense is already going to be having trouble by then if you squander 30 minutes. And from what I heard, Joe Filardi is going to be starting the game against Notre Dame.
I don't know if I'd throw him to the wolves, but I mean, yeah, it's a situation where it's not only scoring points, but it's also sustaining drives and keeping your defense off the field because as the more they can stay off the field, then obviously the more fresh they can stay, and the better that they can, more consistent they can play as the game goes on. And they always say that's why you play the game. Last year we beat Miami and knocked them out of the college football playoff, and I would have to imagine that if we went to Notre Dame and beat Notre Dame somehow, that would be them getting knocked out of the college football playoffs. So, hey, you got nothing to lose.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have nothing to lose. I think we'll just have to keep our powder dry for the rest of the year. We'll talk about the games and just see what happens. But as of now, it's just it is exactly. I know I say it is what it is a lot, but it is exactly what it is.
Yep.
And that's it. So Syracuse does knock off Drexel, improving to 3-0 for the regular season so far, 80-50. And I was rooting so hard for the Orange defense to stop Drexel from hitting 50, but they only scored 18 in the second half. So it went into the half 37-32, and it looked like it was going to be a struggle early for Syracuse, and we haven't seen them kind of struggle out of the gate like this. The defense tightened up, though, in the second half, and they went on a tear there and ended up winning by 30. The thing I've noticed is turning defense into offense, big time transition buckets. And you've got 44 points in the paint and 20 points off of turnovers. And Syracuse, they hit their stride pretty decently from 37. I say pretty decently. 37% is pretty good. You look at 7 for 19. You're like, but I mean, 37% is high volume. 49% from the floor, and again, Cayenne Anthony going ahead, third straight game in double-digit scoring, and then William Kyle, another 10 rebounds, 3 steals, 3 blocks, only 8 points, but Donnie Freeman and Nathaniel George both paired up with 13 points. And what really did it in the second half for Syracuse is the defense just put a stranglehold on Drexel, and that's what we've been used to seeing. And I was just happy, Joe, like to your point last week when we talked about how badly. Well, not how badly, but how we're beating teams in the fashion that we should, and not giving these guys a lot of breathing room right off out of the gate. And it seemed to be like it might have been a little bit of a struggle, but obviously they got their stuff together. You saw Donnie Freeman kind of huddle everybody up before the half of that game, and he was giving the guys the business. He's like, there were some transition buckets that got away from them and things like that towards the end of that half. And he let the guys know that he wasn't happy. We talk a lot about field generals on the basketball court. And it looked like he kind of grabbed the reins at that point in time, right before they went into the locker room. And whether or not that was the turning point or not, I don't know. But they came out in the second half totally different. So just a breath of fresh air, man. Really good to see the guys holding each other accountable. And the way they came out, you could tell that something lit a spark under them, and it's promising. And I'm not going to win every game, I don't know about some big NCAA run, but at the end of the day, this is a different team. Like it is completely different. We got our star players still sitting on the bench, and this team is just not what we've seen in, I'd say, the last 5 years.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would 100% agree. Obviously, when Boeheim was still here, we were still running the zone, and obviously we could score at a good rate, but we didn't have the same type of athletes. But you can just see these. I mean, we're just wearing these teams down. I mean, the first Delaware State, Binghamton, nothing to write home about, right? And even really Drexel, when you look at it, I mean, the Colonial Athletic Association, it's a step up from the MEAC with Delaware State and American East for Binghamton, right? I mean, you look at Ken Palm, because those are really the only analytics out here or any type of rankings, and Binghamton and Delaware State, they're in the 300s, right? I mean, they have a combined record of 1-8, as far as their record so far this season. Drexel's 1-3. And they're, I think 279 or something like that in Ken Palm. So again, once we get to Vegas and we play Houston and Kansas and, we in the conference play, it's going to be a different story. But we're beating the teams the way that we should be beating them, right? And I spoke about this, the last podcast about the previous seasons against other comparable schools. But you can just see that the defense would just wear them down, right? Like Drexel went out there, and Drexel was hot early, and then they were excited, and it was a game in Philly. Even though I hope that it ends up being an away game, but I think they played where they played with the 76ers. They played somewhere that was like a neutral, court, right?
Yeah, it wasn't Philly, but yeah, it was a neutral court.
And so again, to be there and to go to a neutral court, travel, and to come against a little adversity that they haven't really came against the first two games, and then turn around and just like you said, I mean, we outscored them 43-18 in the second half, and it just seemed like our defense, we just hit a different level in the second half, and it just wore on them to the point where they just stopped. They started missing shots. I think their legs started to get a little tired, and then when we started scoring, it was pretty much a wrap. The confidence kind of fell apart. And to your point with Donnie Freeman, I mean, he's just been, a leader. I think he didn't have the first season that he wanted to have last year. And obviously with playing through injuries and then being injured and missing the season, he's out here and he's basically taken the reins as far as one of the leaders on the team. And, also to do this, I mean, to win by 30 and, like you said, JJ Starling out, right? Tyler Betsy, and I know a guy from Locked On talked about it. Tyler Betsy got hurt. He only played 5 minutes. And on top of that, Nate Kings was heralded as this, and I think that he's played good. He scored, around the basket. He's played good defense. He was heralded as this amazing three-point shooter, and he just hasn't got there yet. And I think it'll come. But, just to see us still trying to feel it, all the players out and figure out rotations and everything like that and still be able to blow these teams out, I think it's a very, very, positive thing.
To your point about Betsy, Coach was asked about that. He went out, never returned, but Coach seems to think it's not that big of a deal. I mean, for what it's worth, that's what he said. So, you can do all the speculation you want, but at the end of the day,
no, it was a bad little ankle roll for sure.
It was.
The worst part about it was I think that it came off of an offensive foul that was called. I think that he got pushed, he got elbowed and pushed into his player, and he basically landed on his own teammate's foot. So, knock on wood that he'll be okay.
So I did get fan feedback, and we'll do that for this game as much as I have, and then we'll just talk a little bit about Monmouth, who's out of the Colonial as well. Yep. And, I put this up 2 hours after the game, so it might even be longer than that. What the hell time that game start? I don't know.
3:30.
It was probably about an hour after the game then, so my bad. But anyways, I was behind. I put it up as soon as I finished and thought about it, but that's my fault. Anyways. With that said, our buddy Nadal, it's crazy to say this team might be worse with Starling on it. Is it crazy to say this team is worse with Starling on it? I think it was too early to tell. They were still right? I mean, when you talk about what you just mentioned, that you kind of hit on it very briefly, but what the defense did in the second half. I mean, that's the identity of this team, is what the defense has done this year, in my opinion. And they just didn't have it in the first half. I think that through these, really the regular season games, we've seen this team kind of evolve a little bit already. And they haven't had JJ, but JJ was in what, 2 games, a game and a half? I mean,
Who?
It's JJ.
Yeah, injured the first couple minutes of the first game.
Okay, well, there you go. Yeah.
He played the exhibition games.
Right. Okay. So two games, exhibition games, and then barely played in the opener for the season. Yeah. Yeah. So okay, my bad. I just don't think it was enough time to tell. But I will say that this team seems to be okay. Now, the big takeaway from that, Nadal, would have to be that you if you lose your star player, you're not toast. You're not cooked for the rest of the year. Okay, you've still got some talent on this team and some young talent on this team that can step up. I mean, look what Cyan Anthony's doing, and right. I mean, he's living up to. He's as advertised. If anybody's a skeptical person around here, it's me, and I'm a show me guy, right? So, but he's shown me, and to be where he's at, as young as he is, and maybe people expected it, but I don't expect anything. So, yeah, I don't think that that's necessarily true. I just think that it's going to make us much deeper, and when you have to worry about another guy that's got a lot of talent, and we know what JJ can be like when he gets going too. Yeah,
and obviously we are uber talented and athletic, and unlike college football, college basketball, it really doesn't matter. I mean, yes, you're going to get the experience portion of it, but being a true freshman with basketball compared to football usually is a completely different kind of thing, right? Like what Demetrius Samuel's doing as far as a 17-year-old for football, completely different than, a Cyan Anthony that's coming in as a true freshman, come in all the time and play really, really well in college basketball. But, Nate George, I think he's gotten a lot better. Cyan Anthony, Donnie Freeman, obviously, with his energy, although, you can argue some of his shot selections, things like that. Love Sadiq White's energy. Tyler Betsy hitting, buckets off the bench. And even Luke Fennell, Bryce Zephyr plays great defense. I mean, Nate Kings, just everybody. William Kyle, way better than I thought, right, as far as his athleticism and the things that he does around the rim. So, and defensively, it's just been night and day from, like you said, the last 5 years. So my biggest thing is that we haven't played great competition. And as far as this whole roster goes, because I know Nate, he's went and scored some points and everything, but he was more of an assist guy last year. The only player on this roster that has proven, hey, I need to go get a bucket against a good team or good competition, and I'm going to go get it, is JJ Starling. So I understand where he's coming from because the team does look good and Starling hasn't been out there. So it's like, does he come back? Does he mess with the flow, the routine, some of the things that are looking good, but realistically, until it's proven, until they get out there and they play against top talent, JJ's the only one that's go get a bucket against really good talent, and he's proven it. So that's something, and like you said, it's a show me thing. Everybody looks good against these other guys, but what's going to happen when you play against Houston and Kansas, Tennessee, and teams like that, teams in the ACC? So
I don't have. I think it's great opportunity, and this is I guess it's a show for next Sunday or this upcoming Sunday, but I don't have high expectations there. I'm just more curious. So
yeah, but I mean, I the way they've been playing and the way they've been beating teams, I mean, it's definitely the expectations are. You know how Syracuse fans are.
You might go steal one. I know. That's why I'm saying it. So we can pump the brakes. Okay, we're winning them like we should, and that's awesome. And that's to our buddy at David Super's point here. Joe said it in the last pod. In recent years, these games that were tight. Glad we're back to dominating the squads we should dominate like we did back in my day, quote unquote. Not a huge deal, but slightly surprised by the lack of dunking, especially after a big plus in topic after especially after I was doing so good. After being a big plus in topic after first 2 games. Yeah, you like seeing them getting thrown down. One got thrown down last game. He was right under the bucket when he got it. I can't remember who did. I think it was William Kyle. Yeah. But
he had a couple.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's good. It's good to be at this point and not be like having your face in your hands at the end of a win. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a good change of pace for sure. At Oil Cuse, Joe doesn't agree with this, but this team is 15 to 20 points better than last year's team. He just calls you out, bro, right off the bat.
Why don't I agree with that?
Huh?
Why don't I agree with that?
I don't know. Make your case. Maybe that's what he wants. Make your case, dude.
I mean, I 100% agree with that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, a lot of it has to do with the defensive end.
Right. Well, we're playing it now.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, again, I think there's going to be some things that we're going to need to, getting out rebounded by Drexel, all those offensive rebounds we gave up, still a problem. Free throw shooting got a little bit better this game, but when you look at everything else, the percentages are there. More assists, 6 more steals, 4 more blocks, 11 more turnovers, 16 more points off turnovers, 13 more fast break points, 24 more points in the paint. I mean, we're dominating these teams that we should be dominating. And again, I want to stay cautiously optimistic because I know that these teams are, not great. But we just haven't seen this in a little while. We've seen our teams struggle. Losing to Colgate, losing to Lemoyne.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like taking Youngstown State to double overtime. Like we've seen all this and then not getting to, not getting to the tournament, and I think a week ago we talked about this. I think we were in the Ken Palm. I think we were like 58th or something. And
you said in Ken Palm, yeah, we're 113th in that.
Are we?
Our 133rd in that. I
haven't even seen the net out. That's what I'm saying. I don't even know if they've actually put that out there yet. But I mean, Ken Palm, we're all the way up to 48. So, unfortunately, and the announcers spoke about it too in the game when they were talking about. Unfortunately, the rules and the things that help you get higher ranked isn't great for sportsmanship. So some of these teams got to go out there and they got to do what they got to do. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's almost like Reds called them out and been like, look, we got to go out and we got to do this now. Like, we can't play these close non-conference games because it's going to kill us at the end of the season. And that's what they're doing.
This wasn't from the NCAA. If you go to the NCAA net rankings, it gives you kind of a blank page. With not much on it. So, I mean, it's not a blank page is what I'm saying. There's just not a lot of stuff there.
Right.
So this, and I think I mentioned this, bballnet.com. I mentioned where I got it from last time. But I mean, it's in depth. It's for 2025. Let me look at something real quick. This was last updated March 16th, 2025. How is that even possible?
And that's what I'm saying. It's like the end of the year rankings from last year. So I don't think they've actually done it yet.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so my bad.
All you can go off of is Ken Palm really right now.
I thought they did that though, but I guess not. I thought they had them out. I thought they had a running net ranking as soon as the year started.
Look, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it too.
We talked about it last year. Hey, I don't care if they wait for us to get all the way through the end, the non-conference before they do that.
Oh, we talked about that.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe they listen. Who knows? Either way, let me just check one more thing out real quick. Okay. Yeah, it is definitely not here. There's an archive sheet, so there's nothing out for net rankings yet. So, hey, that's good because I'm pretty sure they used to have them out at this point in time. But anyway, let's see. Brian, let's call him on Twitter. Sorry. Always good when you win the turnover margin, and they certainly did today. 18-7, which is very good. Mm-hmm. At Marty Maloney, we might be back. We will see. Next week, we will see. all kinds of things to see next week.
Yeah.
Joe, you got anything on Facebook?
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple. Sammy, and a lot of them are kind of the same, but at least it seems like there's more fans that are getting more, excited about the season. But a lot of the same kind of stuff. Sammy says, fun game. Drexel played scrappy and has some good players. It was cool being 10 rows back from Mello, and Kyle McCord was there too. We played better in the second half than the first. Too many fouls in the first half. There's another guy, PJ. Fun game. Nice to see so much orange in the arena. Team is young and talented. Could be a lot of fun. John, fun team to watch. Ton of potential. Aaron, second half much better than first half, but all in all, it was a great win. A lot of stuff like that. There's a couple that have a little bit more. Ted says, this team has to figure out how to come out of the gate playing well. You can't be a second half team only. And
they're not, though.
Succeeded against the top dogs. I'm impressed with the defense, however. He said, I swear Dennis Rodman came in at halftime and did a quick demo on how to rebound as they flipped the switch in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that comment. The premise of it, I don't. So the premise, that being that's how they play. That's not what we've seen this year.
No. And then the last one I got, top fan, Dom. He says, I thought the team would win by 30, but I never thought they would only give up 50. And imagine if they didn't come out rusty in the opening part of the first half, what the score would have looked like.
Yeah, go ahead. I thought you were
I was thinking the same thing. Honestly, I think the D will improve. When JJ returns, just because of the sheer numbers of people Red can throw out there, and the offense will definitely get better the more they play together. I haven't been this optimistic about Syracuse basketball in a long time.
Yeah, like I said, it's been about 5 years. And as far as optimism go, actually could be longer than that. The first part of that, I was the 50 points. We've held 3 opponents to 50 or less points, which is phenomenal. But the 18 points in the second half is pretty impressive. I'm not really sure I care who you're playing at that point.
I don't. And to be perfectly honest with you, it's easy to get lazy against teams like this that
Yeah.
So
that could have been the problem in the first half.
Could have, but they did make some good shots. That Drexel, they made some good shots. But when I saw 32-37, that was like the first thing I thought about at halftime. I was like, well, there goes the keeping everyone to under 50.
Right.
And at least it was just 50.
They barely got there too.
Right. But it's still a number, right? We can say we've kept every team to 50 and under.
Yeah.
So, it's still it's still a little badge of honor to, because I've been sitting here watching some of these ranked teams that, we'll bring it up in upcoming podcasts, but I've seen some ranked teams that sit there and they're only winning games by 15 against not so great teams. So, you can only play who gets put in front of you, and they're taking care of business.
Did I stop me if I said this?
It's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. Okay, let me just piggyback on that. We say a lot, and if I said this, let me know. But we say this a lot where, I don't know what I'm going to learn from this game. I don't know what I'm going to learn from this game. It's really a lot with football, but it can be with basketball too. But seeing what we've seen the past couple years and then seeing this breath of fresh air, you can get something from this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can get a little something from it. You can see that they're on pace to be where they should be. Whereas in the past 2 years, let's be honest, it's been a rough ride for Red.
On pace to what we're used to as Syracuse fans, right?
Right. Let's be honest, the last couple of years of Boeheim was a rough ride.
Yeah.
So, for the past few years, it's been kind of like milk toast or vanilla would be a dramatic and understatement. I don't even think does it justice for what we've seen the past few years. So, anyways, the struggles with Colgate, like you said, that was like a big thing for 4 years in a row.
The thing. When was that ever a thing?
But that's right. Just the past couple years. That should have never been a thing, but it was. It was a thing. Yeah.
I remember growing up, and what was his name? Donald Foyle? Something like that. It was like there was like a big man that was on Colgate that was good. I'm pretty sure that was his name. And he was an NBA player, and they didn't. I don't think they played us that good. You know what I mean? So like, it was never a thing of like. I don't know. It was never
like your butt didn't pucker when you played Colgate, right? Is that fair?
Yes,
okay.
It was a Donald Foyle too.
Okay.
He was a first round pick, 8th pick overall from Colgate. Big man, 6'10".
That's crazy.
Like went to the NBA. We played against them, and I don't think that they ever beat us. Wow. So you never really had to worry about that stuff, and it's just like
I remember back in the day, we didn't have to worry about it for sure because Derek Coleman out there throwing punches one year. So. I mean, you know, Ronnie Cycli and all them guys, dude, they used to get down with Colgate. Anyways, let's shift to tomorrow night. And hopefully you're listening to this before tomorrow night. But you got plenty of time. And I'll tell you why. As Syracuse takes on Monmouth at the Dome, and it'll be their 4th time meeting together. This time, tip-off will be at 9 p.m. So you've got all the way till our favorite tip-off time to listen to the show to get any kind of semblance of what we're going to look
Yay.
at. Yeah, our favorite. It's awesome. Syracuse leads the all-time. I have no idea. They lead the series 3-0 with the most recent matchup back in 2022, an 86-71 Orange win. That's kind of what we're talking about, only 3 years ago. And the most, and then here you go, juxtapose that with this. The most lopsided of the wins for Syracuse coming in 2012, 108-56.
Okay.
So, right?
That's what I mean.
Right. So, as I mentioned, out of the Colonial mid-major, King Rice is the head coach of this team, and he's had some recent history with some teams that have been pretty dangerous from deep and occasionally upsetting higher profile teams. I think last year they pulled one off against Seton Hall. So, yes. November 30th, 2024, 63-51. So they're still not bad from deep, okay? But 33% on the season so far. But they are 1-2 right now. And, with a win over Caldwell, a 13-point loss against LaSalle, and then, really not a terrible 12-point loss against Seton Hall. So hard to give a good gauge on what they can do there, but they do have some talent. They are a little scrappy. And at the end of the day, recently we've had some struggles with 3-point shooting. They're high 30s, low 40s in their games with their 3-point shooting. So, for what it's worth, it's still a mid-major team, and we should not have an issue. But coming out of the gate slow, I think they could be better than Drexel, honestly. I think they're a better shooting team than Drexel, so we'll have to see. But there's not a ton on them, and it wouldn't be fair to sit here and speculate a ton. I'm just telling you what I know. So, Joe.
Here.
What do you got? Do you got anything about Jason Rivera-Torres? He's kind of their guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's averaging the most points, 6'7", 195
and rebounds. Yeah,
points and rebounds. Again, this is going to be
steals and blocks.
So he's the guy.
Yeah, right now after 3 games. Yeah,
and that's what I mean. It's just it's so early that you don't really know. I will say that again, the Colonial Conference is a step up from the MEAC and from American East. But and then also too, but the Ken Pom rankings, I think Drexel's like 270-ish and Monmouth's about 234.
Okay.
So this one's a little bit different. So this guy, he was actually recruited right out of high school from Vanderbilt, and ended up transferring to San Francisco, and then ended up transferring to Monmouth. So this is his 3rd team in 3 years. And yeah, so it looks like he probably wanted to get closer to home, And I just don't think that this team's really size-wise. I think we're going to be all right, right? I mean, they got him, and they got Stefanos Spartalis, who was a 6'9" freshman from Greece. Those are their top two guys as far as scoring goes, and they just got a bunch of guards. Again, we gotta show up, and we gotta do what we've done the first three games. I don't know too much about this team, but one of those things where
they're the Hawks.
It doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's the Monmouth Hawks. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not, and I'm not trying to.
No disrespect. Yeah,
no disrespect whatsoever. But I'm just saying that they're going to be the most highest. They're going to be so far up to date the best team that we've played.
Yes,
against. We're definitely going to put that out there.
Right.
Do we see a JJ Starling? Do we see a Tyler Betsy? What kind of team do we see?
I mean,
honestly,
don't you think you just let, especially JJ Starling? Well, both of them. I'd let both of them rest. I'm that confident. I mean, I feel like this team could be fine and let these guys rest. Would you rather have them play this game and then go into this tournament coming up, or would you rather have them just sit this game out and have another almost full week of recovery before they got to get serious about basketball?
Well, I mean, to me personally, especially when you're talking about things like that, right? You want those things to heal. Because something like if it's a high ankle sprain or an ankle sprain or something like a hamstring strain or a muscle strain, those things can linger if you come back too early. But
you also want some conditioning too.
Well, yes, you want the conditioning, right? And those guys aren't running, right? It's not like it's like an upper body. Upper body, you can still run. So conditioning, but also too, you'd also want the reps. He hasn't played a game with these guys in 3 games, and these guys have tried to figure it out without him. And I think that goes a little bit to Nadal's, point. So it's almost like one of those things. Would you rather him play, one of those smaller mid-major teams, get some minutes and get a little bit of continuity and reps in with the team before you hit Vegas? My whole thing is that you got to stay healthy. Otherwise, that hamstring, you keep pulling it. If you have a hamstring strain or a pull or whatever, and you come back too early, you pull it again. Guess what? Rehab starts all over. Those 2 weeks that you just sat out mean nothing. So,
right, yeah.
If you want this to continue throughout the season, which obviously none of us do, then you just got to see it through. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he doesn't play tomorrow, if he doesn't play even next week against Houston. We just need to get it to where he gets his legs straight, and you got to look forward as far as long-term situation of what you want once you get into ACC play, and you ultimately want to get to the tournament. So I don't know if I'd like one scenario better than the other than just don't come back unless you're healthy. Don't come back unless you're completely healed. That's what I want to see. So, and I just don't think that this is a team that you have to worry about. And again, I only say that because of what they've shown me.
Who's they?
The team.
Right. Okay.
I mean, this team right here on paper, looking at this team and the way that they shoot 3-pointers, and some of the guys they have, I don't know, last year's team, I don't know. Makes me a little nervous, right? I mean, you look at them, they played LaSalle close, they played Seton Hall close. Seton Hall's a Big East team.
Yeah, they played a couple of decent teams well.
In the teams, right? So again, a lot of people are like, well, what are you gonna, what do you show by playing against non-conference teams? Or, well, okay, if we go out and we beat this team by 30, well, guess what? Seton Hall didn't, LaSalle didn't. So I mean, that kind of shows you where you're at, comparable to other Power 5 teams that have played them already. They're gonna come out, they're gonna play hard. I mean, that's what smaller schools do. But ultimately, it's confident that we're going to just kind of keep the status quo so far that we've had the first 3 games, and on to next week. Yeah,
that's it. Exactly. So unfortunately the game is at 9:00, but speak about things you can't do anything about. It's that. Why? I don't know. And by the way, real quick before we sign off here, and I meant to have this ready, so that's my bad. ACC Network. ACC Network, period. So.
Yep, it's on the ACC Network. Thank God YouTube TV and you figured their crap out. So
yeah, they figured that out just in time. Also, I think it's really, 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 really obnoxious the way you have to have multiple streaming services to watch a non-conference early season basketball games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when did this become, like, do you remember it started with the blackout stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now we've evolved into this subscription madness.
Yeah.
Is painful. And,
it is.
And you know, we used to help people out in these situations when the ESPN Plus app was $5-10 a month. But now I'm sorry, I'll find a way. I'll find a way. If it takes me an hour, I'll find a way. I'll get around your silly little subscriptions, even though you're going to make me do the work for it. But I think it's an atrocity that this is even allowed to happen. Honestly.
Yeah.
And you know what else shouldn't be allowed to happen, Joe, is these pissing matches between, seems to be ESPN and ABC are involved in these quite a bit.
It's Disney, right?
Yes, right. Yeah. So these pissing matches between ESPN or whoever it may be against your local providers or even your, streaming providers or whatever should not be allowed to happen. It shouldn't be allowed to happen through FCC regulations. And I'm not a guy who demands federal 3-letter agencies step in to do anything. But I mean, come on. You went and paid some money to watch those games through a different means, right? So I in some way or shape or form had paid money to watch these games through other means, right? So what are you doing? Who are you proving your point to? I mean, I don't know. I think it's
almost a monopoly.
Is it though, or is it like the opposite? Well, no. Well, with ESPN, it is. Yeah, because they can hold anybody hostage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
It's like the UFC stuff that used to be, I guess
they're going to Paramount. So,
right. So, and that's just it. So you got to have Paramount, you got to have ESPN Plus, you got to have Peacock. Okay. We find out, right?
Prime Video.
Prime Video.
You got to pay for internet.
All right, you got to be able to stream it. That's the least of my worries is the internet. But you should be able to find all these things at one place. And, that's why it helps you lose interest. It really does. It helps you lose interest in things and maybe spend time doing other things. So,
yeah, 100%. And the thing was that it used to be what? It used to be Time Warner.
What?
Right?
Oh.
Well, no, just used to be Time Warner Cable.
Right.
You paid for the whole package. You paid for the, or Spectrum or whatever it is, right? You paid for the internet, then you paid for cable. And then, they were gouging you with cable. Cable's going up every year. You're like, what's going on? And then you got to buy this extra package for this or buy this extra package for that. And then it came along the streaming services.
And everything was good for a little bit.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh, Netflix is only $10 and this is only this and this is, and I'm like, dang, I can stream like 5 things and it's still way cheap. It's half the price of Spectrum cable.
Right. Yeah.
And now all of the streaming apps are eating themselves alive and ESPN is pushing all this stuff and it's just crazy. Like YouTube TV, it gets popular and now all of a sudden ESPN wants to try to hold them hostage. But meanwhile, there's all these 7-day free trial. Oh, Hulu Plus. This is that. Well, who owns Hulu? Disney. So
they're making theirs while everybody's on strike.
But what do? They so ESPN,
they bumped their prices up.
Disney probably bumped up the price, right? So does that mean YouTube TV's going up? Is Disney trying to push people toward Hulu because they own them?
Well, things don't go down. We've learned.
Yeah.
So you know what's crazy? Well, I'll say this just to put a cherry on top. You know, even if you buy the NFL ticket, which is like $350 a year, if you get that package, you still have to have Prime. And there's other games too. Like they played where this week in
Spain.
the NFL? Come on, dude.
Madrid.
Yeah, bro. Like,
oh, dude, I know. And but like I said, the funny thing is that everyone was like, "Oh, cable's so high, cable's so high." But now to watch everything that people want to watch, it's like it's getting pretty close to that cable price again.
It's getting.
I mean, and it's like those streaming services are eating each other alive so bad that it's almost like Spectrum is in a good spot. So, like, hey, they might come back to cable.
Yeah, there's a solution for all this.
It's called not being greedy.
Well, that's one solution. That's a solution we can't control. However, back in the day, we used to have something called a scrambler, right? You remember the scramblers, Joe? Okay. Well, I'm just saying. Yeah, that's why people had them. They were tired of getting ripped off. But
it only works for so long. And then...
Well, I mean, back then, yeah, because you still had to hook a cable up to it.
Right.
So I did cable. Long story short, they had all these, like, before it was a switch, they had all these little traps and stuff you'd put on the line. I mean, you pull it off and you got cable. You have whatever you want, you know, as far as pay stations go. But to your point, you know, all of these things keep going up. But it's funny, every time I go to the AT&T store or you got one of these knuckleheads in Target that wants to revisit your bill, I always come out on top of that deal. It's way more competitive to negotiate your cell phone bill than it is your cable bill. Like, I remember when I got off of the whole NFL ticket thing, right? And when I told them I was leaving, after I had already called and been like, look, I've been paying for this thing for almost 10 years. Can you cut me a break? $350 a year. And like, I can't get any breaks. If you sign up for DirecTV, at the time I was telling them this, you get like half off. And like, I'm paying full price. I've been a loyal subscriber for 10 years. No, sorry, we can't do that. I'm like, okay, well, I'm canceling it then. Hold on. Oh, I can get you a deal. Nope, cancel it. I was done at that point. Done. Cancel it. You could take your deal and shove it where the sun don't shine. You know why? Because I had to threaten to cancel before you even were going to give me a deal. So no.
Yeah, that's how it is. They want you to they get you hooked in with a deal, and then the next thing you know, your bills go up, and then they just hope that you're just not going to call and complain. If you call and complain, then you can get the deal. It's everybody. It's even with Spectrum. You can call and complain and bitch. Oh, I'm gonna cancel. Oh wait. Oh, now you want to treat me like a brand new.
Right. Yeah. No.
I've been here 10 years. Like, you've assumed that it would be like more, right?
I mean,
like, the longer I'm with my job, the more vacation days I get, the more perks I get. Right.
Right.
The higher I get paid.
Right.
You think that should happen when it comes to things that you're paying for and subscriptions and everything like that? I think it'd be the other way around.
You would think you'd get some kind of loyalty program or something. I mean, hell, I can go to, I have a loyalty program at Wawa, for crying out loud. I get free stuff from them all the time because I go there and buy the gas. It's like, I mean, come on. It's peanuts compared to what I'm spending on my freaking cable bills.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a problem there and something should be done about it. But I would rather not have the federal government step in for it. That's for sure. I guess, I guess, the more I think about that, the more I think it's a bad idea. But something should happen, something should happen. But anyways, here we are. This is what we're stuck with. And, it is unfortunately what it is. And I said that again for probably the third time today. All right. That rant's over. That's going to do it for us. We appreciate all of you for coming back and listening. And if you can stay up tomorrow for the game, it might be a good one. But we'll be back Sunday to talk about the tournament and things like that. The Notre Dame postgame show will be then too. So we will see you then. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.